The mainstream media will tell you the war burning through Manipur right now is a tragic, spontaneous ethnic clash that erupted on May 3rd, 2023, strictly over a scheduled tribe ST reservation dispute. But we are talking about this isn't just a localized tribal dispute. It is a highly calculated geopolitical proxy war fueled by multi-billion dollar narco cartels, untraceable Chinese weaponry, and the silent strategic maneuvering of the central government. Welcome to the narco state proxy. To understand the shadow economy, you have to look at the genesis. Manipur wasn't always a state. It was an independent kingdom dating back to at least 33 AD. The true spark of this conflict wasn't lit in 2023. It was lit in 1949. The Maharaja of Manipur was pressured and placed under de facto house arrest to sign the merger agreement with India. This forced annexation birthed a deep foundational resentment. By the 1960s and 70s, this alienation led to the formation of highly organized separatist groups like the UNLF and PLA, who actively took up arms to demand secession. Fast forward to today. The public thinks the violence is persisting simply because local militias are angry. The shadow reality reveals a massive logistical pipeline. Over the last 60 years, there has been a staggering 460.7% increase in the Kuki population due to a massive influx of illegal immigrants from Myanmar. These networks brought advanced Chinese-made weaponry drone bombs, ARM-4s, and rocket launchers straight into the conflict zone. But how are they paying for military-grade hardware? The answer lies in Afghanistan. When the Taliban imposed a comprehensive ban on opium cultivation in April 2022, a massive void opened in the global narcotics market. The shadow economy immediately pivoted to the Golden Triangle. Militant groups are actively utilizing extensive poppy cultivation to fund their war machinery. They are fighting for territorial control to protect a narco economy that buys their guns, with the ultimate objective of carving out a separate administration known as Kuki Land across Manipur, Mizoram, and Myanmar. And here is the most terrifying part of the geopolitical chessboard. The Indian army is undeniably powerful and could arguably end this conflict in a week. Yet, the central government remains strategically silent. Why? Because managed chaos provides leverage. As Myanmar fights its own military junta, India sees an opportunity to expand its geopolitical influence. By allowing the conflict to persist, the government can silently destabilize the well-established, decades-old insurgent groups in Manipur without sacrificing its own military manpower. Meanwhile, the civilian population is completely abandoned, caught in the crossfire of this geopolitical game. The people have lost all trust in state forces like the Assam Rifles and the CRPF after decades of alleged abuses and their failure to protect innocent children and civilians from terror attacks. With no state protection, civilians are forced to rely on the insurgents themselves for survival. The ultimate shadow currency isn't just capital, it is manufactured instability. Welcome to the unseen markets.